Welcome to episode 28 of Minnesota Vikings Chat podcast. I am David Erickson, your host, and today we're going to relive the glory that was the Rams' victory, the opening game victory of the 2014 season, and then we'll talk about the upcoming opponent, the New England Patriots. But first, I didn't know what to expect from the Vikings team with a new coaching staff on offense. Got Norm Turner with head coach Mike Zimmer on defense. Going on reputation of alone, you had to be confident that at least they knew what they were doing. And sight unseen yet for a regular season game, we finally get to see it, and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. It was a boring game until about 1:18 left in the first half. Vikings were leading 6-0, and the poster child for defensive incompetence by Pro Football Focus, Josh Robinson, came up with a big play. Robinson, who of course played in the slot last year as a cornerback and had a disastrous year. He was very, very bad. Is moved out to this year. He's playing the outside. We got Captain Munnerlin manning the slot position. So Robinson is on the outside, and the big question going into the regular season was, how is he going to do? Is he going to be as awful as he was last year? He's going to improve simply by moving him to the outside position, or a combination of better coaching, or all of the above. Well, we got to get a little glimpse. Because at 1:18 in the left in the first half, the Rams had the ball in their own end of the field, and there was a sack on the previous place. The Rams were on second down, facing second and 16. So the rush was on. Brian Robinson did a superb spin move on his guy, forcing Sean Hill, the Rams quarterback, from the pocket and to roll out to his right. Josh Robinson was backpedaling. He was playing off coverage because it was the second and 16. Was backpedaling. Put himself into a great position underneath the coverage, and just basically camped underneath the ball once it was thrown. It was an ill-advised pass, but Robinson was there in perfect position to catch the ball. He went up for it, put his hands in a perfect diamond position, and reached out and grabbed the ball, tapped his toes, in for an interception. We got that broken down in all the stills on MinnesotaVikingsChat.com if you want to take a look at the stills of that. That, of course, led to the Vikings took over deep in Rams territory, and it led to a Greg Jennings touchdown, and we're off to the races from there in the second half. Another play, of course, the most glorious play of the game, probably, Cordarrelle Patterson's 67-yard rushing touchdown. Patterson alone got 102 yards rushing for the game. Adrian Peterson, our all-world running back, got only 75 yards. The team as a whole got 185 yards rushing as a team. So that's a good day, regardless of who's rushing. And the most glaring effect that I saw with the combination of Matt Castle had a solid game. Didn't turn the ball over. Had one ill-advised throw, I think, that could have gone for a pick six. But he made good decisions. Had a solid game. But the combination of Castle at quarterback, some consistency at quarterback, and somebody who's making some sound decisions at quarterback, and Norv Turner is the offensive coordinator. What I noticed most glaringly during this game was the absence of 8 and 9 men in the box. People aren't crowding the line of scrimmage anymore. They're giving us a bit of respect because we've got some explosive talents on the offense, and we've got a quarterback who can make you pay for it if you stuff the box. So that is a welcome sight. On defense, the Vikings recorded 5 sacks. They forced 4 fumbles, had 2 interceptions, and one, of course, led to a touchdown, and one was a direct touchdown. Harrison Smith's 81-yard return for a touchdown. Most impressive thing, and the thing going into the game that I was most curious about, was what the defense is going to look like under Zimmer, and we got to see it, and it looks real good. unpredictable 10-man front. So he's putting a lot of people at the line of scrimmage before the snap, and making the the offense try and figure out who's blitzing, if anybody. More often than not, he's not blitzing, but he's stuffing people at the line and having people peel back into coverage to confuse the offense. I think the Vikings blitzed only 5 times during the game, but when they blitzed, it was in crucial situations and 3rd and long situations typically, and the offense didn't know where the blitz was coming from, because the consistency of giving them that look about that blitz look at the snap and then peeling off, you never quite know where the blitz is coming from. And that's why they're so effective. Heavy defensive rotations. That's another thing I noticed. There's a lot of people played on defense. Tom Johnson was in. He stripped the ball. Corey Wooten was in. Shamar Stevens saw some action. Gerald Hodges played in nickel defense. He made a nice stop to keep the Rams from converting on 3rd down. So there's a lot of heavy rotation on defense, and it's good on several fronts. It keeps people fresh late into the game. It gives younger guys more experience, and you got to wonder whether if Zimmer is everything that people say he is, he's smart enough to be able to not just rotate people, not just use formations properly against, or use certain defenses properly against offensive formations, but matching up people to people. So putting the right people and exploiting their strengths and hiding their weaknesses in the right situation. So we'll see one game, but it looks really good. But this is what good teams are supposed to do. So the Rams were playing without Sam Bradford, their starting quarterback, and Sean Hill's quarterback, and then we knocked him out after the half, and they were playing with their 3rd-string quarterback. Keep that in mind. It was a thumping of a inferior, at least at that time. We'll see how the Rams play the rest of the year, but they didn't look very good. But the good teams are supposed to beat bad teams this way, soundly. So great start to the season. Now we got a real test. We have the Patriots coming to TCF Bank Stadium on Sunday at noon. The Patriots, of course, are coming off a 33-20 loss to the Dolphins. One of the storylines everybody's writing about is, well, the Vikings have to overcome the trend that the Patriots don't lose back-to-back games. Okay, well, statistically, I don't argue with it, but so what? I mean, is that a really thing to overcome? I don't know. It's the Patriots you need to overcome. So anyway, how did the Dolphins beat the Patriots? They blitzed on 3rd and long situations. Sound familiar? They harassed Brady all day. He was under pressure all day. They ran the ball heavily. Knowshon Moreno ran right through the Patriots defense. Had a great day running with the ball. There's some things that will be familiar too. The Dolphins' defensive coordinator was a former assistant of Mike Zimmer's, so a lot of the defensive concepts that Zimmer applies to his defense were likely applied to the Dolphins' defense. And Zimmer's Bengals handed Brady one of the worst games of his career last year when they played. I watched that game and saw a lot of things that I saw last Sunday from the Rams game. That a lot of the 10-man fronts, disguising stuff, but bringing pressure, getting pressure with 4-man fronts, and blitzing in strategic situations, blitzing on 3rd and longs, and them being effective blitzes. They're hitting home, and Brady was harassed, and he had a horrible game. So it was very familiar to look to what the Dolphins did against the Patriots. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us do the same thing against the Patriots. So why? The Patriots' offensive line looks like it's in shambles this year. So the hallmark of the Patriots' offense, and Brady as a quarterback, has long been for years that the offensive line just was always solid and provided him with hours and hours back there to throw the ball. He was clean all the time, and nobody could get to him. They had a wall that protected him. That doesn't appear to be the case anymore. Brady was sacked 4 times in the second half against the Dolphins. He was constantly under pressure, as I've said. They traded their best lineman, all-pro guard Logan Mankins, at the beginning of the season because of his contract demands. So maybe there's a bit of hubris here with Belichick, but they traded him to the Buccaneers, got rid of him. The Pats had rotated their offensive line heavily during the game, and they've got a new offensive line coach in his first year. So all those things combined, when you think about the Vikings, who, say what you will about Charlie Johnson being the weak link on the offensive line, those guys have been together for several years, and that goes a long way for cohesion in the offensive line. The Patriots don't have that now. So that's something that may work in our favor, and given how much pressure we're able to bring to bear against the Rams, maybe we can do the same thing against the Patriots. So I think that's one of the keys to the game of beating the Patriots. I think the Patriots are beatable. It's early in the season, and I don't think it takes. We'll see, but I would imagine it takes longer than one game to get your offensive line figured out when it looks this bad. And then the Patriots defense didn't seem to be able to stop the run. So Vikings game plan should be get pressure on Brady with 4 rushers, disguise blitzes, show crowd at the crowd the line at before the snap to disguise your blitzes. Blitz strategically, but harass Brady all day. Tight coverage, make him throw under pressure, and then on offense, heavy ground game. Adrian Peterson, Cordero Patterson, even Asiata, maybe short passes, but control the clock with the running game. If we can run through the Patriots defense, let's do it. Let's control the clock and keep the ball out of Brady's hands. Give him as few opportunities to have the ball, and when he does have the ball, let's make him really uncomfortable. So that's sort of what I think the Vikings need to do to win this game. I do think it's winnable. It would be awesome if they did, and we could use that because we still got a tough schedule. We're playing plenty of good quarterbacks coming down the line. So we'll see. Let's wrap it up for this week, though. Thanks for watching. This is Minnesota Vikings Chat Podcast. I am David Erickson, your host. You can find us on the web at minnesotavikingschat.com, on Facebook at facebook.com/Minnesota Vikings Chat, on Twitter at twitter.com/MNVikingsChat, and remember to use the Vikings Chat hashtag during every Vikings game to chat with your fellow Vikings fans during the games. Follow us on Twitter. Share links to Viking stories throughout the week, and YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Minnesota Vikings Chat. Until next week, go Vikings.